Good afternoon, church. The history of St. John Baptist Church is truly a demonstration of God's provision, preservation, and the fulfilling of His purpose. The church grew out of Sunday school and religious services organized in 1874 in an area of York County known as Black Swamp Hill, the current location of the Naval Weapons Station. Classes were held each Sunday, except the first Sunday when the group would attend First Baptist Church, Williamsburg, in order to receive communion. In 1879, a group of worshipers known as the Black Swamp Hill Wing, led by John Roberts Sr., began discussion with the Puritan, the Queens Creek Wing, led by Jacob Holmes, to consider establishing a church in their community. The result of the meetings confirmed God's plan for a new church plan. By faith, 53 born-again believers joined together to establish St. John Baptist Church. A committee of 7 persons was appointed to suggest a name for the church. A proposal by John A. Roberts to name the new church St. John Baptist Church was adopted. The newly formed body then called a recognizing council of area ministers. The council recognized it as an independent body, and in 1884, St. John Baptist Church was formally established. Reverend John M. Dawson was elected as the first pastor. The first deacons were John Roberts Sr., Andrew Randall, Jacob Holmes Sr., John Banks, Thomas Hardy, Isaac Wynn, and Monroe Lee. After 2 years, in July 1886, land was purchased from John Roberts Sr. and his wife for the sum of $8, and the first church was built. The second pastor was Reverend William Green. He served only a short time before his death. Reverend Dawson again served as pastor until the election of Reverend William Knight as the third pastor in 1911. The church managed to give a picture of life within the congregation during the earliest years. Worship services were held once or twice a month, while the Sunday school met weekly. Records indicate that in October 1903, St. John celebrated the church's anniversary. Members were asked to give 1 cent for each year the church had existed. The fourth pastor was Reverend James H. Edwards. He served from 1912 to 1938. During Reverend Edwards' leadership, St. John became affiliated with the Tidewater Peninsula Baptist Association, made contributions to home missions, and to Virginia State College, which is now Virginia State University. It was also during his tenure that President Woodrow Wilson was given power to seize the property of the church and families in the community in order to establish the Navy Mine Depot at Yorktown, which is now the Naval Weapons Station, Yorktown. Everyone who owned land was ordered to abandon such land within 30 days, just compensation to be worked out later. At a meeting of the congregation, it was agreed to accept and receive from the United States government the award of $4,160. The trustees, Walter Roberts, Joseph Hunley, Samuel Taliaferro, Moses Lee, and James H. Payne, Sr., secured a parcel of land situated in the county of York, Bruton District, containing 5 acres, more or less. The land was purchased on Penman Road for $375, and a new building was erected by 1922, built by members of the church and community. Reverend Edwards pastored in 1938 after 26 years of faithful service. The church was without a pastor for the next 2 years, but God provided. Reverend Daniel Davenport served often as supply minister along with other visiting ministers. Under the leadership of Reverend George T. Hall, which was 1940 through 1949, Reverend E. Alexander, 1949 through 1951, and Reverend Oscar E. Davis, 1952 through 1957, the church prospered. New ministries were organized, and the gospel continued to be proclaimed. 1958 ushered in the tenure of Reverend Solomon M. Wesley, 8th pastor of St. John Baptist Church. Reverend Wesley instituted a policy that the doors of the church would be open every Sunday for worship services, and this was instrumental in the organization of new ministries. Growth during the next 5 years created the need for additional space. Plans were made to build a new building that would meet the needs of the growing congregation. God provided, and on June 1st, 1969, the new edifice was dedicated. Improvements to the facility continued over the next decades, including a $350,000 expansion to provide additional classrooms and meeting space. In August 2004, Reverend Wesley retired after 46 years of service to God and this church. In appreciation, of his faithful years of leadership, the church conferred upon him the title of Pastor Emeritus. A search committee was appointed to begin the process of selecting the next pastor. During the interim period, Deacon Brady Graham gave leadership to the congregation. 3 sons of the church were called and licensed to minister during this time. Minister Rex Ellis in the year 2005, Minister Raymond Palmer in 2006, and Minister Quinzel Chestnut in 2007. In 2005, Reverend Alvarita Mack became the first woman ordained by the church. In 2007, Reverend Walter Hudson was installed as the 9th pastor of St. John Baptist Church. Prior to becoming pastor, Reverend Hudson had served 16 years as an associate minister of St. John Ministries that have been established under Pastor Hudson's leadership. They are the jail ministry, intercessory prayer ministry, health ministry, family and friends fellowship, and the culinary ministry. As we celebrate our anniversary, we are thankful for our 130 years of history and for the 53 faithful men and women who banded together with a dream, a vision of establishing a new congregation. Together with their faith in God and through faithfulness to His Word, they have shared the good news of Jesus Christ with our community. We have been privileged to be a part of this history, and we are thankful for the hand of God, not only on those who came before us, but upon us this day. We pray that we will continue to faithfully work together to love the Lord and share His love with our community and the world.